Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugger and I am coming back at you finally with a little bit of Euro Truck Simulator 2. And in this one I am doing a truck showcase. I'm not ready to get back to the company yet. And if I'm to be 100% straight to you, I don't know how much I want to go back to that. I may just start sliding into showcases, trucks, maybe trailers, things like that. We'll see. But either way, in this one, we're actually doing a kind of truck that usually sees very little love. So this will be very interesting, and that is Renault. Oops, no, I want to buy online. And that is this truck right here, the Renault Major Niska. Series Major 4x2 Niska left-handed steering, 440 horsepower, 1,550 Newton meters at 1,100 to 1,400 RPM with the Opti Cruise GRSO 925. It's also got a 600 plus 400 liter fuel tank, listed price at $91,560. As you can see, again, it's a basic truck. I don't know if it's a classic. The mod that I get it from calls it a classic, but I don't know if it's an actual classic. And on top of that, it does look like more of a classic truck, although to me I would actually classify it as a town truck, a truck that's made just to haul smaller trailers around town and around locally, like a lot of the delivery trucks that we have here on Maui that go to places like, say, convenience stores and drop off beer or soda or whatever, you know, those kind. You might have seen them. So that's what it looks like, but I already have one purchased. I already bought one. So let's see if there's any upgrades for the truck. There it is. Upgrades, cabin. It does look like there may be cabins for it. Yep. And so you can either have a slope or that, or flat. So why don't we go with the slope. Yeah, there we go. A little more aerodynamic looking to me. But first off, you know, let's take a general impressions look of the truck. I don't know what the 60, 80, 90 means on these, and someday somebody might explain that to me. The red color looks a little bright red. Looks a little maybe too red, especially against the gray. The texture might be a little bit low on the truck, but it adds to the basics of the truck. Interior, again, kind of hard to tell as we go inside. It does have a sleeper, so this truck can go long haul, although extremely, extremely basic truck to do so. It says it has a 600 plus a 400 liter tank, but as you can see here, I only see this, and I really doubt that this constitutes as a 400 liter tank on the side. So that is off, so it's not using quite the correct numbers. So even though it is a standalone truck, it is not using the correct numbers. Anyways, chassis, you only get the 4x2 engines. You start with a 440, then you can downgrade to 350, 380, 385. Of course, we're going to go with the 520. Transmissions, just the basic in-game transmission, so we'll go with the Opti Cruise with the retarder. Interior, very basic, but then again, it's kind of a basic truck. The seat looks a little off because of the way that things are set up. The laptop on the pedestal is a nice touch, plus the gear shift here with the buttons on the side. As you can see, this was made to be an extremely basic looking truck. Okay, now I understand the camera is actually in the seat on the interior, but that's usually not much of a problem. I guess there is a paint job on the windows. The mirrors look okay, very basic mirrors, no fisheyes. The controls are reversed in this for whatever reason, and it's like this for every truck. It's not the mod. General CB and radio up over your head. Basic dashboard. Kind of difficult, not kind of, actually very difficult to see a lot of the dials on the truck. That's not all that great. So, paint jobs. Basic paints, green, black, gray, red, yellow, and another green. If we put up the red, it matches with the tank. Points of interest, we can put lights on it. We can put, looks like several different types of bars on it. So why don't we go like this? And I've always, you know me, I've had a thing for the square lights, so that. Oh. Well, that doesn't work with the bar, but you can put it up there if you want to. I guess that's in place of a visor. Of course, you can put the signs on. Looks like you can change... so I think that works best. And then... well, that's weird. Double Renault? Why not? So that works. Do those lights work? It doesn't look like they do, but they may work like on high beam. Cannot change the lamps even though it puts it up there. And then your basic tires. You know, you can change the tires on them. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I think that one works best. We'll just keep the whole red theme going on. And of course, you can take off the side mirror and whatnot. Alright, so it has basic customization, so that's actually not bad considering a lot of trucks you see nowadays. Alright, let's drive it. And, like, hope my game didn't crash there, and it didn't. Let's see if we can find a quick run and see how this truck... God damn it, what are these trailers still doing in here? I turned that mod off, I thought. I guess not. 438, probably the fastest we're gonna get, I think. 16 tons, yeah, sure, why not? With any luck, we'll get some highway runs on it, and it'll be fine. One of the reasons I don't like doing this so much right now... Alright, apparently the windows are shaded. That makes it awkward, to be honest. And you can see it doesn't quite line up on the inside. The interior looks really dark. I can't tell if it's night or day out. Alright, it's night, so that explains a lot. It's an interesting sound. Lights on, high beams. Alright. God damn it. Stop that. F4, so we put on the roof and auxiliary lights. There we go. High beams. Sounds nice. Orbitals. Not bad. Brake lights working. I have to put it, I actually have to... Yeah. Alright. Not bad, honestly. Although, again, the dials are really hard to see on this truck. Interesting view out the window for sure. And suddenly the... Okay, I would say the design on the window's gone. Laptop's down. That's interesting. It's definitely got an interesting and unique sound. I like that. It's got no in-truck GPS system. So you will have to use the floating GPS. I don't know, that's awfully growly. I mean, I like it personally, but that seems awfully growly for this kind of truck. Noting that a lot of the European trucks were actually usually very quiet. Either way, let's hook up to our cargo, which is the only one here. The dashboard is really hard to see. And I'm pretty sure I turned my camera mod off. I did that in a previous video. So... you know, that could be true to the truck in terms of like... I want to see that from the outside if I can. Yeah, the backup looks a little bit wrong. Yeah, it tends to hook on the truck a little bit. And the trailer bounces up. That's a little strange. But... oh god, I didn't even rest. I'm an idiot. That's alright. I forget to do that sometimes. I'll just find the next convenient rest stop and rest. I don't care if I'm late or whatever. This is all about just testing the truck. I wonder if that's real, the truck on the interior. The dashboard being blocked by the steering wheel. The speedometer especially. It looks like there's supposed to be something in the middle of the dash where that green is. I don't know if that's like your power area or if that's actually supposed to be some kind of readout. I don't think that could be your power area. It doesn't sound right for a power area. If I'm to be honest, it kind of sounds like the truck doesn't have a muffler. That was an awfully easy uphill for 500 whatever horsepower we got right now. Although we're only hauling 16 tons, still that was awfully easy. Thank you for letting me in. No, is the window down? That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like you put the window down, or that could just be bad graphics, because you don't see that on the other side, except towards the top. Hello, corner. Might want to take it. It definitely feels weird to be in compared to all the other trucks I've driven. Especially being a smaller 4x2, it turns rather quickly, to be honest. You hear that? Listen. I wasn't picking that up earlier. Engine. The looping sound is not done well. There's a good click before it. I don't know if you guys were hearing that before, but I hear it now, especially up in 12th. Give me a speeding ticket. Actually, we have to rest here. Yeah, that sound's not looped very well. What are you doing going this way? This is for trucks, dumbass. Technically, it's a truck. Yeah, I know there's a car area on the side here. Wow. I didn't hear it before, and I wish I didn't hear it now. Oh, it does put the window down. That's why the graphic disappears. Alright. I don't think I picked it up because I was accelerating a lot and wasn't at cruising speed. That's all I hear, man. That's all I can hear. That's terrible. Makes me want to drive it up here because it sounds better. You don't hear that annoying click that comes into the lower parts. That's a shame, really. It's a real shame. It does look a little low texture on the road, too. Doesn't look quite as good as some of the other trucks I've driven. It's a strange horn. Bee-da-da-da. Bee-da-da-da. You hear it? That's really weird. And that's from the standard horn. The air horn doesn't work, so that's your only horn. I like to drive on the outside of the truck like this. I really do, more in the third person. I enjoy being like this on the truck more. I wish I was more skilled at it, because I think driving like this is more fun than actually being inside the truck. I'm gonna be straight with you, just because of that sound glitch, I don't know if I'm gonna finish this run. I may just cut it early. Nope, can't move over. Of course, when driving like this, honestly, I should have both mirrors up. It's definitely, I don't know, the engine doesn't feel like it matches the speed very well, you know? It could just be me, but now I have to be careful on corners. This is a 4x2. So we're kind of looking to see, you know, we're only hauling 16 tons, but, you know, does she look a little tippy? Not yet, to be honest. Which is kind of why I'm going as fast as I am. Alright, there's the tip point. Not bad, really. I've done worse. Alright, so about 105 around the sharp corner was enough to tip her with 16 tons. So she does have a tip point. Oh god, the sound. Man, just the sound files on this seem really bad. I don't know how to describe it beyond that. So what's going on in Eve right now, and I probably will talk about that a lot while I'm doing other things, because it's, you know, the one thing I'm kind of focused on right now is my corporation, along with a couple others, are trying to take advantage of the fact that the largest corporation in Eve right now is trying to hell camp and like basically kill another smaller corporation. You know, assert this kind of dominance type thing. And last night they semi-paid for it, and not last night, the night before. Was it the night before last night? I actually think it was last night. They semi-paid for it in a joint effort. We had 6 that we had set up. They didn't even know that we knew where they were. But we had 6 set up. And unfortunately we only got 2, but that's still 2 very important structures we took down. We basically took down 2 out of 6 super ship builders, and we managed to basically destroy, I guess you could say, a baby Titan and a baby supercarrier. So that was a bit of a good blow, even to a company as large as CFC. That was quite a punch. And earlier today we tried to do a breakout, another joint operation between 4 corporations to break the guys that are being camped out of where they are being camped, and unfortunately it didn't work out, but we dealt quite a lot of damage and took down quite a lot of the other fleet as well. So even though that was an overall loss, it still was a really good showing by the smaller corporations. You know, see, once you get it up into this kind of RPM, the sound's okay. But the point of this truck is actually getting it to that point. So basically, I think that things are going to start moving against the larger corporation. Now out of a point of necessity, you know, they've taken one really good blow, and you know, the fight that they were in, and when we tried to help break out another corporation from that hell camp, as it's called, is it was not a decisive victory on their part. You know, it was a victory, but it wasn't a decisive, crushing victory. So but now that that's been done, you have to forgive me, I am a little tired. Now that that's been done, the 4 of us may have to stay banded together, because should, you know, CFC ever decide to try and turn their attention, then, you know, we will need the banded effort to help take them down. Not take them down, that's actually wrong. I don't think that'd be quite possible, but to hold them off, you know. In short, it actually kind of showed that they're not as secure as they think they are. You know, they're not invincible, they're not invulnerable, they're not, you know, all-powerful. They're big, they are strong, but I see it happen all the time. Whether it be real life or it be, yeah, that's annoying on these signs, man. I really wish stuff would stop doing that in games. But I see it happen all the time to various companies. You know, they get so big and so powerful, they get comfortable in that position. You know, and they get to the point where nothing can happen to us, and then shit happens. It's happened to most major corporations around the world at some point or another, and will happen to those that are, you know, moving in to fill the void. Kmart, like, and Sears are feeling the effect right now, you know. You know, Macy's, places, older stores like Woolworths, you know, these were very popular stores, you know, very strong brands, whether they be regional or national or international. And then something came along, like maybe in Woolworth's case, you know, be like Kmart, and, you know, maybe Macy's as well. And then in Kmart's case, it's Walmart, Target. They came along and you know, put down the bigger corporations, and something like that, and I think I've talked about this before, happened here on Maui when the biggest transportation corporation on the island, who always used to brag that nobody could put the fleet of buses that they had on, you know, on the field at one time. Of course, they failed to mention those fleet of buses, except for the very top end buses, were complete junk in many cases and had a lot of bad and extreme problems, and many of those problems actually should have kept those buses off the road. You know? So, be that as it may, what ended up happening is a large corporation, which at the time was a cruise line, at this point I forget which one it was, came in and bought one of the smaller bus companies and slowly fed them the money they needed to update their fleet. Mind you, it wasn't more buses, but it was updating the fleet. And what ended up happening is the large transportation lost the contracts for the cruise line, because the cruise line now had its own transportation company to do that. Plus, they were able now, with a bigger corporation backing them, to be more competitive, to put in bigger bids, you know, better bids for functions and whatnot. And then the larger corporation pretty much lost most of its business. The only thing that kept the larger corporation afloat was they were able to win the local bus contract that was just starting up here on the island. The island was getting its first mass transit going on the island, which I think is hilarious, because we actually have a double-decker bus on the island. There's no reason for it. There's none. Not that many people use the damn bus, right? It's popular where the double-decker bus is, but I've never seen it so popular. I took that corner really bad, but whatever. It's my fault. But there's no way it was popular enough to warrant a double-decker bus. I don't know how they pulled that one off, but whatever the case may be. That and the fact that they did have a school bus fleet with the majority. There's a couple other like small school bus contracts out there that are run by other companies, but they pretty much have like 98% of the school bus contracts, which they recently updated their fleet, basically not being given a choice. Basically, transportation boards cracked down on them for the condition of their buses. So there is a slow move to start updating their fleet finally. School buses were priority and had been updated already, but yeah, be that as it may. But, you know, that's what kept them afloat. If it wasn't for that, they probably would have folded. At least here on the island, there was a good chance. Well, what might have kept them afloat is contracting. Basically, the smaller company that was bought out by the cruise line didn't have, in all due honesty, the fleet they needed to support all the business they were getting, so they contracted the other companies to help. So that might have kept them afloat somewhat. But whatever the case may be, you know, although that's a different kind of event from what, you know, can typically happen. That was a large corporation buying a smaller corporation and challenging the large one that already existed. That is one thing that can happen, you know. So I would say there's a good chance it'd be possible that, you know, the corporations that are aligning together could stay in a large alliance, you know, and be something to be reckoned with. But, you know, on the other hand, like Kmart and Walmart and all that, it could just be a matter of a company comes along and does it better than you do. Do it in ways you wouldn't think of doing, and they eventually overtake. Don't ask me why I did that, I just did. You know, so anything's possible. I think it was the CFC that lost that area. It might have been the CFC that lost the big area in that big Eve battle. I don't know much about it. I don't know who was actually involved. But, you know, it was the one that, like, involved, you know, Titans actually in battle. Which is a very rare occurrence. And I have actually seen Titans. I've seen 2 Titans now in the game, up close and personal, and they really are impressive ships. I actually have some screenshots of it, which I wouldn't mind sharing, but I want to make sure I get permission to share them first. I just don't want to post them up for anyone to see. I want to ask, you know, say, you know, that ops run where we killed those shipbuilders. I got a couple screen caps of the Titans. Is it okay if I post them up and share them? Renault and Renault. Rick, F10 that, even though it's got everything on the screen. That's too cool not to F10. Alright, now I actually do have to get back in the truck for this. That short wheelbase does help in places like this, getting those turns in. Trying to angle the trailer properly, like that. Basically try and keep it straight until you get to the proper turning point, which would be about here. Keeping in mind again that we're a short wheelbase truck, so we'll affect the trailer's turning a lot more. There we go. She looks good. And we're done. Enough. Alright, so breakdown of the Renault Major. It's just shy of being a solid mod. It really is. As you can see, even here where things tend to be usually a little bit more high res, it looks maybe a little bit more low res, but that could be the truck itself. You know, maybe the truck wasn't painted to be flashy and all that, so maybe it was a little more flat, but I don't know, it doesn't quite look right. You know, the grays look a little too flat gray. They look like more plasticky than metal, which in some cases is appropriate. In other cases, which you can see the engine under there, it just looks ridiculous. The light clipping through a little bit is fine, doesn't matter. I don't like nail little clipping issues, but overall, it just feels a little low res to me. It drives well. It's got a unique sound to it, but unfortunately the sound file isn't very good. Pardon me. You hear that loud clicking when it cycles, and that completely blows any sense of immersion with the truck. When you're hearing, when you hear that, it just completely abolishes any sense of immersion that you may have had at any given point. So the sound files really mess it up. And the horn, not much better. It sounds like a two-tone that doesn't fire at the same time. It's just really, really weird. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's on the edge of being solid, but it's not. If you can clean up the sound files, I'd probably give it a 7. But with the sound files being messed up as they are and completely blowing the immersion in the game, I don't think I can go any higher than a 5, really. Because it does drive well. Once you get it up to a certain speed, the cycling does get better. You don't quite hear it as much. But that speed is pretty fast, especially for 4x2 at 110 kilometers-ish at maximum, at like 12th gear. And going around corners with that kind of speed can be very detrimental to a 4x2 truck. So, sorry, I had to sneeze. So overall, it's one of those things that's like on the cusp of being a solid mod, but it's got that one critical error in it that just kills it. And that piled on top of a bunch of kind of like little small things is just a little too much. I didn't test the wipers. I didn't see if the windshield wipers actually work, but I think overall, though, like I said, it doesn't matter too much, especially with the, sound file acting up the way it is. So, a 5 at best, but don't take my word for it. I always encourage people now to download the mod and check it out for themselves if you want to, make your own opinion. But that's going to be it for me, folks. Done with this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. If you could leave a comment, rate, and subscribe down below, that would be fabulous. But until then, this is going to be One Big Bugger. I'm going to be signing out.